Further north you go, basically,
Yeah.
is the more fat British chavs you get that just want kids to have money. That might. Welcome to Unpopular Theory, the podcast where we talk about unpopular opinions and the theories behind them. So it's a new year, new setting, and we've got Theo back with us, returning. How you doing, Theo? You alright?
Yeah, man, all good, brother.
Thanks for jumping back on.
Pleasure, it's always good to be here, man.
I've got a little game for you, actually.
Okay,
cool. So first of all, do you want to start, introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
As if you haven't already seen the last episode.
100%. Well, as Harris has just mentioned, it's a pleasure to be here. And I also run my own podcast, After You Cast, where I've been getting ready to film, actually, at the moment, season 4 content. So, nice. Yeah, we're a good 2.5 years down the process now. So, yeah, I'm a content creator, creative director, and do a little bit of photography, videography as well. So, yeah, my whole thing is visual media and branding. So if you're ever looking for anything like that, if you're looking for somebody you can kind of, take over your professional imagery, that's what I do. So, yeah, it's always a pleasure to sit down with you, bro.
He's a person to go to. So, had a little game. So I'm going to shout out a topic.
Okay.
And then you need to give your most unpopular opinion about it.
Okay. All right.
Makes sense? So,
yeah. All right.
How about we start off with dating?
Okay.
What's your quick fire, top of your head, unpopular opinion about that?
So, dating. Now we're doing modern. So, I would say women should pay for the first date.
Or
you like that?
That's going to trigger some people.
I know, definitely.
What's your thinking about that, behind that? What? So you don't even think it should be 50-50, it should be women that
Not
pay
anymore.
for that?
I think that things change and things change in time. And
Okay.
The reason why I say that is a very unpopular one, and the reason why is because women now dictate the dating market, like 100%. I would assume. Men don't really have much power in say so. If you think about it, the world's getting more and more PC, so men don't really want to say things that are gonna get them in trouble. So I think now what you can see, there's a lot of men that are stepping back from the dating market and saying, is it worth me going out and putting my potential livelihood or getting in trouble or getting, there's so many little negative connotations that come with it. So that's why I said, I think women now who know what they want for the most part, they know if they're interested in a guy or not.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you think because there's hardly anything that men get out of it apart from maybe the sexual fact,
and not even that.
Sometimes not even that in dating, because there's not as much as what women could get from it. They think they should take control and have to pay for the. Oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think it's going to trigger a lot of people just because naturally it's the expectation, right?
Yeah.
When you go against expectation, people are always triggered.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
That's the first one.
Right, next one. Gender. What's your thinking behind that?
I'm going to go with something that's close to home, and that's sport, unfortunately. Okay. So I don't believe men and women should compete and be paid at the same level. Yeah. So when I say that, I mean, to be fair, everyone should have the ability to compete in their respective sport. But what I don't agree with is crossover. So I don't think men and women should ever compete against each other. And I don't believe that we should ever be equal in pay. Yeah,
I think there's a lot recently, the last 5-6 years about, the gender gap, the pay gap and all that stuff. But I don't know if you've heard much of Joey Barton's comments about women's commentating.
What did he say? Did he upset some people?
He upset a lot of people. And do you know what?
He's been doing that for his whole career.
Add to the fire a little bit and say, I agreed to some of his points.
What was he basically saying? I don't think.
So he basically said, and for others that haven't seen, he basically said that women shouldn't commentate on the men's football game.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, go on.
He
continue.
took it to another level.
Did he go to extreme?
Women can't do this and can't do that.
Okay, yeah. I won't go that far.
He might have taken it too far, but I sort of get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
But maybe that could be a deeper conversation about another
That's a
day.
great point. You know what? I'm going to follow on and add a little bit more fuel to the fire. It's okay for a female coach to get into the men's game, but it's not okay. Well, it's not okay, but there's issues when men
The
are
other way
coaching
around.
the other way
Yeah.
around. So it's like on one side, we should be able to be in your game, also get equal pay, also get the same rights and respect. But as soon as we see you in our side, what are you doing there?
Yeah. Maybe we should get a girl on here as well, so we can like
Balance it out.
see all sides. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a good
100%.
one. All right, last one.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do family, because that always causes issues.
Oh, yeah. I would say when the title, blood is thicker than water,
Yep.
I would say that doesn't necessarily mean much. Just because it's thicker than water doesn't mean that you're always going to get the best result, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
it's basically, you might have a friend that actually might be more family than a family member.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
That makes
so
sense.
a lot of times
yeah.
we just throw, just because it's family, it could be a cousin, a lost long person, like an auntie's child, whatever.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you could have a friend that you've known and they feel more like family to you. So what I would say is like, family over everything isn't necessarily always a statement that applies.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Yeah.
So I feel like off the top of your head, you were prepared for that challenge. I like the instant attack to it.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell everyone what your today's unpopular theory is today? His actual unpopular theory for today is that not everyone deserves to have children.
Yes.
So
and let me back that up. So
yeah, what's your back?
Hear me out.
Hear me out.
Hear me out. So there's a few ways that I can back that up. One, I think not everyone deserves to have children in the aspect that, one, not everyone is always ready for children. I think that's one thing that doesn't get discussed. I think we always talk about children are a blessing, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they are a blessing, but are you in position to support those blessings? So that's one element. The moral element of it, in terms of where are you in terms of your decision making? What decisions have you made in life? Like, are you a good person? That's another part. Then we can kind of highlight and talk about financial maturity.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people are still figuring out their just life in general, right? Like we're at that age now where we've got a bit of life experience.
Yeah.
We've put things in the bank, but you can imagine an 18, 19, 20-year-old today, how are they going to prepare themselves for life as a parent and take care of kids when they're basically still children?
So there's a bunch of layers there that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So the first one you said there was sort of like young parents, right?
Yeah.
Young. What age is too young? Do you reckon?
I'd say
to have kids?
Anything in your teens, I think is definitely too young. I think that you should probably maybe start exploring it mid-20s onwards. I think because, a lot can change in a year. So I'm not saying that you have to, it's 10, 15-year process before anything. Some people, they figure it out quickly and they know what they're doing. But what I would say is you need life experience more than finances and the extra parts. You need to be, what are you going to teach your kids?
So it's not just, I agree with that. I think that's definitely, there's a lot of that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But in life experience, it's not just what you can teach your kids, but it's also what you want to do with your life as well. And I'm not saying having kids just ruins all that all of a sudden, but it definitely limits it. There's no argument
100%. And a lot of people kind of offload that. Like, as parents, I've heard many parents say, but my kids are a blessing. I'm never be ashamed or upset. Like, no one's saying that you're not happy you don't have kids. But what we're saying is that you can't.
It limits you.
You can't say that you can't do certain things. Of course you can't.
Yeah, you can always find ways around it and do X, Y, Z in a certain way, but it definitely limits you. So if you are a bit too young, and like you said, maybe in your teens, not only have you not lived enough potentially to learn things to teach a child, but you haven't actually done anything yourself to enjoy your life.
100%. Like you just take out learning experiences and what you teach, because everyone goes to the whole, what are you going to teach your kids? What are you going to teach your kids? Fair enough. If you've got good education and good tutors, you can put them in places, cool. But what have you done in your life?
Just to enjoy your life.
Yeah. Have you gone on any trips and holidays by yourself?
Any holidays, any travelling? Have you
invested in something, tried something, started up a business, tried to get anything? I think,
but not just on top of that as well. Actually, is who you're having a kid with as well.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. It makes
a big difference because if you're too young, you might not have even met enough people to understand who you want to have a kid with.
That's very true. And you know what? I would add a little caveat in there too. Like, tell me what your thoughts are on this. I don't believe people who have had children after they've now separated should go and look to date people who haven't had children.
Oh, so I feel like this is an episode within an episode.
It is an episode within an episode.
Wait, let me
I'm just
just
hitting people.
unpack that. So,
go on.
If someone's had a child, you shouldn't look for other people with children. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, as a primary option. I don't think that you should, like, because you hear some people. I'm not saying that in all cases, but I do think majority of the time there's too much difference. From my experience dealing with, let's just say, girls that have children, it's not that I don't get along with them or don't see where they're coming from, but we're in two different places. You have something that is you're obligated, you have to take care of, which is your child. But when you are single and you're still figuring things out, like you said, you may not have met enough people yet. Yeah. You may not know
to work
out is this the kind of and before you know it, you're taking care of somebody else's kid.
Yeah.
Before you've even had your own. And then we're about to get prepared for your own too. So yeah, I would say, as an unpopular opinion, people who have like recently divorcees, people who have broken up, but they've had children, don't go looking for single people. Yeah. Stay in your lane and go and find somebody else who's gone through the same life experiences, because there's many of them. Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can or can't do one or the other, but maybe don't use that as the limiting factor.
Don't go primary. That's what I said. Like anyone can end up with anybody if it fits and it's the right fit. But I think seeing a lot of broken relationships, then you're going to go and try to start something with somebody who hasn't even embarked on that journey yet. Yeah. I think it's a bit unfair on the person, on both parties. Yeah. Because now you're going to not be able to provide that security and like respect and seriousness they need, and then a single person can't live up to the expectations of being a parent without being a parent.
Yeah. So we've talked about age. You're thinking teens is definitely too young. Early 20s is pushing it,
but there are some mature people young. Yeah, we know.
And mid 20s onwards is probably
it's like when you start looking into it. I think definitely for men, particularly. I mean, I can't speak on a female's behalf, but definitely for men, I've seen when you get into the mid 20s, coming to your 30s, transition happens, mindset happens. I mean, I'm 32 now, so I can definitely see in the last couple of years there's been a massive transition. Confidence, maturity, willingness to have certain conversations like we're having now, and articulate yourself in a very clear way. Yeah.
So the next layer, I guess, would be the financial side. So when you say people don't deserve to have kids, what instantly comes to my mind is, I suppose, if you look at England, right, as a map, as soon as you get past like Watford and keep going north, like maybe past Birmingham, and you get to Leeds, and then, I don't know, the further north you go, basically, is the more fat British chavs you get that just want kids to have money. That might have been a bit of a harsh description.
It's true.
That might have been a harsh description. Hurts, but the amount of girls, because guys can't have kids, that have kids just for benefits, just for financial gain, because they can't be bothered to work.
It is an ongoing problem, and I think it goes back to a statement that it always lives with me, which is privilege is invisible to those that have it. And it's such a great statement because it applies to everyone, even myself. Yeah. And I always sometimes have to stop myself and be like, damn, I'm grateful in this position because, my parents didn't have this, my previous generations didn't have this. But yeah, you're right. When it comes to today, we have too much abundance of options, too many things that we sit and, you go to another part of the world, third world, let's say, you think they're worrying about benefits.
Yeah. Well, so this is where I add an extra bit to it, and I feel like this might be taking it too far.
Go on.
Because I haven't really explored this in my head fully before I've said it out. So we've talked about, we say British, it probably happens in other Western countries as well. Yep. Taking advantage of the benefit system and so on. However, so a lot of the times, I've seen, so if you go global now, poor families, like, I'm not for 1 minute saying that they're not allowed kids, they're not deserved kids, like
they have massive families,
but they have massive families.
I know exactly what you're saying.
That's questionable. Like, it's to me, that's, I'm thinking, all right, again, this might sound a bit harsh because, like, who am I to say someone can have kids or not? But if you're struggling to put food on the table for you, your partner, and your kid, right? And like, you've had a kid, that's fine. Like, if it was me personally, I would have questioned actually having that kid in the first place. But I think, if you talk about the meaning of life and all that stuff, to reproduce, whatever you like, that's fine, yeah. Second kid pops out, third kid, like some of these families are like 8, 9 people.
Yeah, and bigger.
Yeah, but they're struggling.
Yeah, yeah.
So what? To me, they don't deserve to have that many kids.
I'm glad you said. Do you know what? I'm glad you said that, because, like I said, we're having real honest conversations. I don't think there's anything bad inherently in saying that. You know, if you're not in position to take care of what you create, no different from, like, let's separate for a second. So you have children; they're a blessing, right? You have possessions and assets that you're also responsible for.
Yeah.
If you don't take care of your vehicle, it will break down.
Yeah.
If you don't maintain your house.
Say I get a dog, right?
Yeah. There you go. That's a great example.
I don't teach a dog to behave.
Yeah.
A dog's biting everyone. I'm responsible for that dog, right?
Yeah.
So
if they say they're going to come put your dog down, what are you going to say?
You're going to obviously fight it and blah, blah, blah. But it's going to be your responsibility. So if you have a kid and you know you already struggle with the first kid, and you have 2 or 3 more, 5 more, whatever. Like,
that's your fault.
I'm not even talking about big families, even the second kid, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. And I mean, let's just, speak about the elephant.
Is that selfish?
No, and this is what about the elephant in the room.
No, I mean, is that selfish from the parents?
Yes, it is selfish from the parents. Yes. And what I was going to say was, to add on to that, was, let's just be black and white about it. In third world countries, where the economics are much more difficult to navigate, you tend to see more irresponsible decision making.
Yeah.
Let's just be fair.
Yeah.
When it comes to drugs, when it comes to crime, when it comes to education, when it comes to all these different things. So on one side, we can sit and say we're being like holier than thou, and we're acting like we're so special because we're in the first world. No. I think it's just purely emotion versus logic. Those situations you mentioned, those big families, you go to a third world country, why would a person who's a farmer have 20 kids? Yeah. Outside of just the love for children, that's great. But of those 20 children, how much can be shared?
It's actually a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? Cruel. It's cruel bringing someone to the world knowing that you can't look after them.
Just ask the children. Because there's the thing, you can ask the parents and they'll say, yeah, I love my kids. Yeah, of course. Ask the 5th or 6th child how they feel. Yeah.
Well, sticking on the cruelty bit, some people are just messed up.
Very true.
Some people are evil people.
Yeah.
And I think they should be added to the list of people that don't deserve to have kids. Now, the trouble we have there is, how do we work out fairly who's evil, who's not, and this and that?
But, it's kind of, it reminds me of like the death sentence in prison. Yeah. Like, people are happy to say a life for a life, but who wants to take the life?
Yeah.
After, when they're sitting in prison, it should just be a life for a life. Okay, cool. Well, you go and do it.
Yeah.
No one wants to do it,
exactly,
because it's a moral based thing. Now it's attached to you, but it's one of those not impossible scenarios. But it comes back to people, moral decision making the right choice, and we like to avoid things that could be considered triggering or emotional today, because we live in such a PC world. But the reality is, deep down, who doesn't think about these things? Yeah, we all do at home.
We're just saying what
a lot of people thinking at home. Let's be real.
So far, there's a list of people that don't deserve kids, right? People that are too young.
Yep. Financially.
People that are either too poor, or only want to have kids to take advantage of a benefit system.
Yeah. Or bail out, because sometimes people have kids and be like, oh, my 4th kid is going to be the athlete. My 2nd kid's going to be the musician.
People that are too evil. And then I've got another one. So people that I guess it's normally women, because men, again, like I said, don't give birth. But women that use kids to trap a partner.
Yeah, it is. It's unfortunate.
To keep or they use it in a blackmail or that kind of. They use the kids for something that's other than bringing them up. Yeah, wanting to bring them up.
I do feel. One thing I would add in here as a caveat is I do feel for, let's say, the quote unquote average woman who's looking to try and have a family, because her window is so short. Let's think about it. Like, you go out, you can't really enjoy life too much because you get a stigma. You can't really travel and just be free flowing for too long because attachments come with that. And then career and work path is really hard because you could be getting. I've seen women that are flying in their career, smashing it, doing really well, and then they haven't have a kid, everything's gone, or it's difficult to maintain. So it isn't easy. I can imagine from a female's perspective trying to like settle down, have a family. What time do I do it? When do I do it? And I think a lot just end up making the wrong choices because of that. And men, we get, for the lack of a better word, we get what we get.
Yeah.
For the most part, men don't dictate who gets born. We just put our best selves.
Well, I was going to say we don't actually need a girl. We were saying earlier we need a girl on here to represent you, representing them like fairly there.
100%. Yeah. I think that it's just I have 4 sisters.
Yeah. So you see that, see the other side of it.
Yeah, I can see the other side of it, and that's why I try to be as objective as possible, but be fair.
Yeah.
Be honest, because people respect the honesty, but you don't have to be disrespectful. You can come across in a way that is like, I see where you're coming from there, but you don't have to be like, oh, women are this, and you shouldn't be doing that, and get your, you know what I mean? Like, it's a level.
So we've added women that use having children as lifestyle, or not like, how do I explain it?
Yeah,
do you know what I'm thinking of here?
I know
Like,
what
you
you
know
mean.
how sometimes people
They want to dress them up like it's a doll.
not just that, but like they want to have like mixed race kids, for example.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
Or
Okay, what's where we're going?
For the sake of like,
Okay, let's talk
how do I
about
explain that? Like
let's
they
talk
want a certain lifestyle, and they use the child as an accessory. It needs to be a certain way and certain blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So obviously they're attracted automatically to the partner that can give them that kind of child. And
But
what about them?
there's
Do you
not
think-
necessarily. Yeah, bro.
do you think they don't deserve kids, or do you think they shouldn't just have kids?
Oh boy, this is a big one.
Because deserve is a very powerful word.
This is very close to home for me, and it is what it is. But I definitely feel that, particularly some groups, black men. Yeah, let's just be real, because I'm a black man. I can speak on it.
Are you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, someone might tell me I'm not. But black men, there's a fetish for black men when it comes to.
This is what I mean. So
romance.
I feel like, so I guess in this case it'll be white women.
That's if we're gonna go off an image that's most popularized, yes,
That's the
white
most
women
common,
with the black man. But
as a style choice,
a lot of mixed race children that are very good looking.
But don't get me wrong here. Yeah, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think being attracted to someone from like a different race is a bad thing at all.
No.
I think the fact that they want to have a kid for that reason is wrong.
It's not, I love this person, I want to have kids with them. It's, I want my kids to look like this.
So I'm gonna go with this person.
Like you're baking a cake.
Yeah.
Like we add some more chocolate in there.
Yeah.
Like,
So do you think that's a deserve, or do you think they shouldn't have?
I don't think that. I think that's
I don't think it's a deserve.
Yeah, I don't exactly.
Yeah, because
I agree. I don't think it is, because
really
now,
down the line when the novelty wears off and
I've seen it, and this is why I can speak on it, is because I've got people close to home who have dealt with it. I know women that have done that, so I can see how they treat their children over time. So I can sit back and look now and say, those individuals have now put themselves in a certain spot where it's like, it's very strange. Could you imagine like having a child, but not for the choice of having a child? I couldn't think about that.
So that leads us nicely to the next layer. Is just loving a kid enough?
I would
to
say
raise the child, and
I would say no.
No. So what else you need to have?
I think it's some of the things we mentioned before. I think that maturity. We need those core discipline in place. You need to be in the right place in life, and I think it needs to be a combination. It's not one thing. It's not, I've got loads of money, I can have a kid now, or I'm mature enough, I might have a kid now. Because you could be mature and broke, and then you can't feed your kids.
Yeah.
Then you can also have a lot of money, never see your kids, and then they grow up to be nightmares. So there is a combination in there, but I think it is once you've kind of like somewhat got some life achievement, life experience, mixed in with built up some financial responsibility for at least yourself. Because what I tend to find, the struggle comes from adding in something you're not prepared for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So you basically need to have like a lot of your life prepared.
Yeah.
Before just saying, oh, actually, this kid will be fine because I'm gonna love him or her.
Which is what leads to the whole age gap situation in romance and relationships, which is why historically there's always been a massive age gap, especially the larger the economic separation between the two partners. So, you know, if one partner has lots of money, it's usually, especially if it's the man, typically the female brings a lot more of that love, nurturing, because you spend more time and allocate it to the child. Whereas, let's be honest, if the man doesn't have much, now we're putting ourselves in a new spot where the woman can't sit there and do all of that nurturing and loving stuff. She's got to go out and work the same way.
Do more than just love, yeah.
It is what it is.
I've got one more to add to our list that we've made. So we've talked about that cruel people, but also some people just should not reproduce.
Yeah.
I was going to say they're too stupid, but again, like, how do you tell someone like you're too stupid to have a kid or you're too this and But it's not just stupidity. It's more like you don't have to be a clever person to have a kid.
No.
It's more like I strongly believe that a lot of problems with society and this and that nowadays is because people aren't raising their kids right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
do you think they're not raising them right, or do you think that they haven't been raised right?
It's the same. Yeah, it's a cycle, isn't it? It's a cycle. They haven't been raised right, so they haven't raised their kids right.
Yeah.
So if you are self-aware enough to understand that you haven't been raised in a certain way, but you can flip that and raise your kid in a certain way, then fine.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are self-aware enough sometimes, and those people unfortunately go on our bad list, a blacklist of non-deservants, because that's what they just add to the cycle, you know. Just simple things like behaving in a certain way to, you know, the crime and things like that.
Yep.
So
100%.
I feel like our list has grown way more than we've actually talked about.
Yeah, we first talked about something very simple, and it's just
so what is it so far? So let's get too young,
financially immature.
So too poor.
Yeah.
Or taking advantage of a benefit system.
Yeah. And then
too cruel.
Yeah, too cruel, morally
too
unjust,
stupid.
or,
Let's just say too stupid for now.
Low IQ.
Low IQ. No, not too stupid. Just generally like
just in general poor decision making and just, you know, irrational behaviour.
Yeah, and then not understanding that it's not just love that you need to raise a kid with.
Love isn't enough.
Yeah,
basically, love.
Anything else you want to add to it?
I think those are the three most, because those kind of come together. Yeah. You know what I mean? Finances.
Any type of person you want to add to them? Oh, wait, there's more. We've missed some. People that want to have kids for a style choice.
Yeah. That's right. That's using for the benefit system.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Ulterior motives, basically. So like you're having a child not for the sake of I want to be a parent and take care of this child, raise this child properly.
Yeah. It doesn't go with the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Or they want to have a certain type of child to fit in with the aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
When you hear, exactly, I know what you're referencing. Yeah. You're basically referencing the idea of when you hear a woman say, I want my kid to have this colour eyes.
Yeah.
I want my kid's skin tone to look like this, or the hair texture. Yeah. These things like that should never even be in your mindset before having a kid, because you shouldn't even be able to picture these things. What that means is you've seen somebody else's kid or someone else, and you thought, let me replicate that child.
Yeah, that's clone it in a certain way.
Yeah, you're like, I want my baby to have that same eyes, and no. I think, as we know, if children are blessings, you don't get to dictate the blessing. You get to receive the blessing and encourage and improve and raise it.
And the other one we missed was women that use kids to manipulate or trap their partners.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm.
So that's our final list. Yeah. Who's going to be the one that sort of sits there saying, you're too cruel, you can't have a kid? I feel like there's a vacancy going. Do you want to...
I mean, I could definitely, I'll jump in there.
Play God, basically.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. I think it needs to come from, like you said, that cycle of teaching the bad things over and over. It's a cycle, right? So you need to start within that cycle. I think it needs to start from in-house with...
It's about self-awareness, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there watching this and you are anywhere on that list, think about it.
Yeah. be aware of
Because
it.
Theo says you don't deserve kids.
Yeah, basically. Basically. Just blame me. Just blame me. Say that random guy is talking. What's he talking about? He ain't got any kids in himself. And he's just like, yeah, because, I think children are blessings.
Just to finalise and summarise this then, so not everyone deserves to have children. Deserve is like the main word there.
Yeah.
Because
that's the one word that people get upset by.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's the one thing that challenges whether you deserve it
exactly.
or you should get it.
And I'm all for reproduction and all that, blah blah blah. Everyone could have kids, and everyone should have kids. And some people try really hard and they can't have kids.
That's true.
So
that is true. And
like I said, deserve is like the harshest word there, but I feel like our list is pretty fair.
Well, that's the thing. You can imagine, like you just mentioned, the people who can't have the children. Like, think about their mindset. I think they tend to be the people who probably be the best parents.
Yeah.
And it's because they care so much. And then when they find that information now, imagine how soul destroying that is. Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got this person who's got 8 kids and they barely care about 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, don't even know the names for the last 3.
Yeah, that's the newest ones.
Yeah, yeah.
They get the hand-me-downs and stuff, and then you're here just like, I wish I could have mine.
Yeah.
So, I think it's perspective, self-awareness, like we talked about, and, just being open and honest to just have these conversations. That's the thing. But we shouldn't be scared to have these convos and, someone's going to come at you for something. It's like, these are thoughts, these opinions. Nothing's black and white.
Yeah.
Nothing's black and white.
Cool. Perfect. So thanks for sharing your theory there and opening that can of worms.
Yeah, I'm going to turn my Instagram. Everything's going private.
If you have any hate towards Theo, just type it in the comments below.
And I won't reply to it.
Yeah. No, thanks for jumping on. Thanks for tuning into Unpopular Theory. Like, subscribe, comment your theories and your opinions.
Yeah, if you think we're stupid, just stay there. Just be like, who the hell are these guys chatting nonsense? Like, who do they think they are?
Add your opinions on there anyway.
Yeah, man.
And then it'll be great to share if you agree with anything, share this with your friends. So see if they agree. But thanks. Until next time. Cheers for jumping on again. Thanks a lot,
man. I'm looking forward to being on again soon and hopefully triggering a few more people in a positive way.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.